Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another Incursio the Gamer Dungeons & Dragons quick build video. Today we have with us Heishou Sinclair of the Yo branch, which is the rooster. Now there's also the horse, the snake, and the rabbit, but Sinclair is a little bit special. He has his own little faction over here. So we're going to get right into it. Let's talk about his ID. Now, of course, Heishou Sinclair, Rupture Burn ID with really offensive stats. Glass Cannon build with low health and low AC, as you guys can see here. Low defenses. His speed's fine. He can gain some haste, gain a couple of buffs, gain a little bit of offense level up and some unbreakable coins. But other than that, he is very straightforward and simple. He just deals damage. He has high hitting coins. So let's talk about his D&D build. Male, half-orc, barbarian 5, cleric 1, path of the berserker, and forge domain. You'll see why. Alright, level 6, naturally I only build level 6, you guys build it from here on out. I only make the basis for you guys. Let's talk stats. Strength 20, dex 16, these are going to be your high stats. Wisdom can be next, I suppose, for cleric, but you're really not going to invest into cleric all that much. Con, intelligence, and charisma are, of course, after that, and they are dump stats at the end of the day. I did get a little lucky with 11, 11, 12, but normally these would be minus stats. Now, 40 walking speed, as he is a fast unit, 45 health, not really on the high end, 13 AC, which is on the definite low end. You can add armor if you want, but because Barbarian's just starting class, you don't gain them with starting equipment, and initiative +3. Saving throws, strength, and con, of course. You can take resilient feat for dex as well, but you already have advantage on dex saving throws unless you're incapacitated. 15, 10, 15 for saving throws respectively, and dark vision 60 feet. Here are your proficiencies. Let's talk skills. Athletics, insight, intimidation, perception, performance, survival. All of these things are very Heishou Yo branch because, well, athletics, insight, intimidation, you get the point. You guys read the Uptie story. If you didn't, basically, they'll do anything to just get another hit in, which is very barbarian-like of them. Now, you might be asking, why did I choose cleric? Because I really didn't need the level 6 for barbarian, and I wanted to invest it to something else. Cleric, forge domain was the best option. Let's look at our actions. So, he does have a sword. I don't know if it's a long sword or a short sword. I added both, and you have the mastery for both anyways. So, yeah. Short sword adds 8, long sword adds 8. The damage is the difference. You have 2 attacks per action. Remember, all they do, as the Yo branch, is just get another hit in. They don't care if they die. They don't care if they take damage. You have dash, disengage, dodge, grapple, shove, and you have your masteries, as well as, yeah, so Vex, Sap, Graze. Graze you're not really going to need for Greatsword, but you do gain an extra 1. So, yeah, level 4 is nice for barbarians. For bonus actions, Searing Smite is really nice. That comes from the cleric. It is basically a little bit of burn. 1d6 fire damage, but it is a spell. You cannot do it when you do rage. Meaning, if it's a small combat, instead of going into rage and then losing one of these slots and taking a level of exhaustion, you instead Searing Smite your way through that fight, just dealing extra damage with spell slots. Now, you'll of course have 2 weapon fighting in case you want that short sword. Reactions. Orcish Fury attack. Immediately after Relentless Endurance, you can make a reaction to make 1 weapon attack, as well as opportunity attack. For other, you have Mending, Identify, and Blessing of the Forge. Blessing of the Forge +1 to AC or attack damage rolls. It's pretty much going to be added onto the weapon to make it a magical weapon. You can only do this once a day. Just apply it to your weapon, make it the Blood Flame Sword. Orcish Fury for extra damage, of course, and Relentless Endurance. When you go down to 0 HP but not killed, you drop to 1 instead. Limited use, you've seen it all. Let's go spells now. Mending, Sacred Flame, and Spare the Dying. Now, of course, Mending I found really funny because it repairs, an object. It doesn't say, bones. So you could theoretically mend back the bones of a person. Maybe the bolus does something. I'm not too sure about the Yo branch, as it is not really introduced in the story all that much. But, yeah, I would personally say it is the Yo's branch version of, oh, I got hit really hard, but I'm just going to get back up and keep fighting. If my leg got snapped in half, mend it. Now, of course, Spare the Dying. This touch a living creature that has 0 hit points, and it becomes stable. Sacred Flame, it's a little bit of fire damage, but it's actually radiant. Flavored is fire. Bane, Identify, Searing Smite. You guys know these spells by now. Let's talk about our inventory. Short sword, long sword, nothing else. No other gear. They do have money, but at the end of the day, the Yo branch is there for assassinations, just like any other Heishou Pack. And the Yo branch is a little special because while the other ones preserve themselves, work in teamwork, the Yo branch just goes for more hits. They don't care about how good the fight is, they care about how many fights they can get. Features and traits, let's call class features Barbarian. Now, survival athletics, you have rage, unarmored defense, of course. All these things are pretty standard. And, I mean, you could add to your constitution, gain a little bit more health, gain a little more AC, but really, while in character, this Sinclair ID has no health. Or, he does have health, it's just on the low end, and his defense is like absolute dog water. You have a weapon mastery, danger sense, reckless attack. Path of the Berserker, I figured, was the best one because you are literally only going in for attacks. Now, you could choose Totem Warrior, but I see Totem Warrior, maybe the Bear Spirit, to be a little more of a tank ID. You could put that on Zwei Gregor, you could put that on Zwei Ishmael even, but that's really up to you. What you're really here for is Frenzy. Frenzy is 2d6 extra damage while your rage is active, while you're using reckless attack. Ability score improvement, because you are a half orc, you choose Orcish Fury. That is beautiful stuff. You guys know what it is. And yeah, increase a score, and you can use a reaction, one attack action. Yeah, you get the point. Extra attack, you have 2 attacks per turn, and fast movement, plus 10 while not wearing heavy armor. For Cleric, of course, you're really here for the Forge domain for a little bit of that Searing Smite and Blessing of the Forge. There's nothing else really there, so species traits, half orc, dark vision, menacing, relentless endurance, which is good, and savage attacks. For feats, Orcish Fury from Barbarian, increase strength score by 1 to a maximum of 20, once to short rest, yeah, just extra damage. At the end of the day, savage attack, of course, from Soldier. This Heishou Sinclair is just damage. He does nothing else, he serves no purpose except for hitting hard. Now, I believe with a optimal turn, you can deal, like, maybe 13d6, 14d6 with just slashing over and over and over again. If you were brought down to 0 HP, coming back up with 1, you can deal maybe like 17d6 in a turn, but this is like a one-time use sort of thing where you do everything all at once. It is optimal conditions, which Heishou Sinclair does, of course, like, which every Limbus ID likes. What am I talking about? Background, dexterity, strength, are going to be your ability score improvements, and this ID is chaotic neutral. He's not lawful in any way. Male, gold eyes, medium build, about 5'4", 120 some odd pounds, 20 years old, fair skin, blonde hair, and the Yo branch. Add whatever you want to notes and extras and personality, etc., etc., etc. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Heishou Sinclair. Now, of course, me personally, I really do like this unit. He was free in the new Intervallo, the Spring Cultivation arc. And I really like the Spring Cultivation arc because Xichun got a little more screen time. Actually, no, a lot more screen time. And I love Xichun. And me personally, I would totally tap that. I would crack Xichun until, you know, the sun cracked dawn. But anyways, I'm sidetracking here. I'm going insane. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. Of course, I have the Wu Branch Sang coming out really soon, probably within the next couple of days, because I don't have Tuesday classes. Monday is a holiday for America. Saturday, Sunday, I do have a lot of business I need to go through and some homework, but I essentially have a 4-day weekend. So I hope you all enjoyed this one, and leave comments in the comment section on what else you want to see. I'm going to do a base ID run. Trust, guys. I'll see you all on the next one. Goodbye, and, of course, good night.